What Forex currency cross should you buy, Mikey? US dollars at highs, a few different major Forex crosses at lows for the last decade, 2 decades, the whole millennium. Which Forex currency cross are you buying, Mikey?
Oh, I'm jumping on the bandwagon and looking right at the euro. I mean, 20-year
Wow.
low in the euro USD exchange rate is not something I've ever seen in my lifetime as a trader. I was born in 96. So this is like a spectacular, it's like a lunar eclipse in foreign exchange markets, something, a solar eclipse, whichever one is more rare. So I'm absolutely looking at this euro USD exchange rate. It's just continued to slide. We pointed it out last week being at $1.03. And I think even today, if I'm not mistaken, we were lower as well. A little bit of a bounce, but basically ending the week on its lows. Looks like it traded all the way down to 101 earlier in the session, now back to 102. But that's my pick of these few that we'll run through.
It does feel like I was going to go even more dramatic and be like, I never seen dinosaurs before, and it feels like dinosaurs are back. Where it's like, man, the first time Frank went to Europe, I was thankful. I hope people don't get mad at me like I was like some rich kid, kind of wealthy enough family, but went to Europe like in the mid aughts. Never saw a euro under parity with the US dollar. And we're as close as we've been to it since 2002. The last time the euro USD was under a dollar there. Very interesting market, I think, to be selling puts in or getting some long exposure. As we talk about the US dollar here, if you don't want to worry about a specific Forex cross that we're going to get into a couple more here in a second, the US dollar futures here, a nice small product that gets you euro, yen, pound, Canadian dollar, and Australian dollar, all the ones we're talking about today, in one simple trade. You would just be selling this to get, long some euros, long some yens. It's like you have a nice basket like the stock market. And you see here giving no ground. Yeah, this US dollar market's closing the week at its highs here at highs for the last several years. If you're looking at the euro, it's 2002. If you're looking at the yen, Mikey, I had to dig up some data. This is one we haven't seen this millennium. The last time we saw yen at prices like these was the 90s, actually a
Wow.
greater value than the euro. If you're going for the greatest value, it's the yen.
Wow. This is a total curveball for me. I did not expect this type of weakness in the yen. I knew they were doing some crazy monetary policy over there. Same was in Europe, but I hadn't realized yen had slid this far as well. Also a nice compliment. And I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, but the euro and yen cross, because you can always remove that dollar exposure, is kind of its own thing, right? Like they're not maybe as major trading partners as the United States and the Japanese yen are. So you probably could trade both of these together without too much worry of interference between those crosses.
Yeah, the only market that euro is looking good against is the yen. And so
Hmm.
that would feel like the only instance that I would be like selling euros into this hole as if I was buying yen. But I'd probably most likely, given my nature, and you give me a 3 decade extreme like you're seeing here in yen, I would be on the long side of it and short that US dollar like I already have in my short SFX positions. Other ones just quickly to run through, not going to be as crazy, but the pound actually is pretty beat up. And you'll remember, so it's lower than where it was when the euro had seen these lows in 2002 or 2004. British pound performed a little bit better, but remember that Brexit has beat up this market in the last couple of years. And so pound at 120 doesn't look like as big of an extreme as euros at 102, but pretty beat up in there. What I thought was interesting, Mikey, is the commodity currencies, Australian dollar and Canadian dollar, not at those lows that we saw in 2016 and when the pandemic first broke out. These markets actually performing a little bit better. So I wouldn't necessarily be looking those to the extreme. What I'd be doing is probably getting the whole basket together. It's what I have: short US dollar, long euro, yen, sterling, and Australian and Canadian dollar. Or I would be looking at that euro or yen piece. And we've done this in the past and looked at selling puts in those individually because they are the greatest value. That's the Forex that I would be buying. But thankfully, everybody out there, you've got a lot of different options.
hmm Yeah, definitely the cleanest, simplest way here is going to be this small US dollar product. And the reason it's probably at highs and euros and yens are at their lows is because the two largest components in this dollar product are euro at 45% and yen at 20%. So a nice, clean way to get exposure to both of those extremes with a single trade, this small US dollar future.
Great final point there, Mikey. Thanks so much for joining us as he does every Friday. Make sure you're checking out Mikey G on Twitter. You've been posting a couple of times a week with some interesting stuff around the markets, and as he gets better and better at trading in his early years, hopefully helping you as well. Definitely helping me on the program. Thanks everybody for watching Small Stakes all week. We'll be back next week with more content around futures, options, and everything else. Have a great and safe weekend. Splash into Futures is coming up next. Peace.